Yeah, I feel like there are things you want to get off your chest there.
Oh, mate. Oh, so we'll get on to the Formula One fan reviewing the Formula One film, because the two strongest feelings I have for this film come from this. The first, right, I would say I'll start with the positive. Let's start with the positive. Okay. I like my filmmaking. I like cinematography.
Yeah.
In Formula One, when you're watching it, do the cars sometimes look a little bit slow? Like on the screen. They don't look like they're going 250 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It actually felt like what you wanted it to feel like when you watch Formula One, where all the angles were like the same as what you get on the TV, but just tweaked enough by a filmmaker that it felt like how you would want it to feel every time you watch.
Urgent and exhilarating.
It was, it felt violent actually. When they were doing the shots from in the car, it felt fast basically. Whereas when you watch it on TV, you're like, they don't look like they're going that fast, but obviously they are. So I thought that the cinematography was an incredible feat. It came off really, really well. It felt violently fast, which is what I always want Formula One to feel like when I'm watching it, and it kind of fed me that in a format that angles-wise look like what you see on the screen, but just way better.
Okay, nice.
Interestingly, one of the ways that they managed to do this was from a technique from, I think it was Top Gun Maverick, where a camera basically has a sensor in it that picks up the light, and then it has the rest of the body of the camera which processes everything. And for Top Gun Maverick, they built a camera that separated the sensor from the rest of the body. So you could put it onto like a fighter jet and it would move around, and it doesn't carry a massive fucking camera with it.
Right, okay.
They did the same with this, and that's kind of partly how they managed to pull off these incredible...
And that was pioneered by...
Top Gun Maverick, I believe. Okay. So very interested. Like I've never heard of anyone ever having done anything like that before, like separating the sensor from the rest of the camera. I think it might transmit it digitally, like live or something like that.
So the sensor presumably is kind of negligible in size, obviously compared to the camera, but what we're talking,
it would be the same. It would be the same size sensor. So like you'd probably be looking at 2-3 inch diameter size lens, basically, with a smaller sensor behind it of probably about maybe 2 centimeters.
Yeah. Okay.
So still, like when you look at a cinematography camera, it's like a big hunky thing that you got to carry around that just you could not rig on a Formula One car very easily. In addition to all of that as well, I don't know if you've ever watched the Formula One when they were trying to film this, but like the scheduling that must have gone into it to get these shots is ridiculous. There's like tiny little windows that they could have got any of these shots in, and they just managed to pull it off. So
were they at Formula One events?
We saw them. We saw Brad Pitt racing at Silverstone. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so they drive around quite a lot slower than the Formula One cars because it's not a real Formula One car. You might have guessed.
And Brad Pitt's not a real Formula One driver.
Although you might be convinced.
Yeah, I'd be convinced of anything.
So they turn up to the actual events, and then like you know how big these events are, and they're trying to squeeze in like filmmaking when they are doing the national anthem. There's like I went to Silverstone last year, and the scheduling is just insanely tight. So in terms of the cinematography across the board, amazing, really, really cool. When it wasn't racing, it felt so polished, so clean and polished that it all looked like a car advert. That's probably the one thing I would say. It was like absolute digital perfection.
And you liked this?
Mostly not.
Okay.
However, when they had scenes where they were like building the cars, it came like almost like Tony Starky sort of energy, but like better,
like chrome,
less CGI and more. And so at times it really worked, and at times it just felt like it just felt unauthentic.
Yeah, good for transitional scenes.
Yeah, good for any kind of mechanical scene, any scenes with like digital screens everywhere and people tapping on their keyboards and saying shit into headsets. And,
right, okay.
Like, works great for that.
Shit's going on.
Yeah.
When shit's going on, it's good, right?
On to the thing that was probably worse. Now, I liked this film.
Yes.
And I knew going in as a Formula One fan, I was like, they're not making it for me. So I'm not expecting F1 like rigor narratively because they want to appeal to the masses. Okay. So that's fine. We'll take it with a pinch of salt.
We've been there. We've seen this before in other sports films. You got to get understood. Go on then.
Fucking hilarious. The funniest narrative ever.
Right.
So this team's been getting 21-22 in the because they've added an extra team, so there's 22 positions, and they've been getting 21-22 for the whole season. Spoilers ahead, by the way. Do you mind hearing?
I have no issue with spoilers.
And basically, the conflict of the plot is if they don't win a Grand Prix by the end of the season, then Javier Bardem loses his team. That's basically the main sort of conflict in it.
They have to win.
So they bring in a fucking 60-year-old to drive this fucking rocket ship.
Classic.
And so the strategy had 3 points. Okay, so we're going to do an F1 strategy analysis. Number one, replace your driver. So they replaced him with a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Just to make it very clear to anyone listening who doesn't watch Formula One, that wouldn't work. You cannot put a 60-year-old in a fucking... I mean, maybe he was 50, but he was way too old to be brought in to the slowest car on the grid, and then expect him to win. Fine, okay. Number two, okay, make the car faster.
Yes,
that was their strategy.
Second point.
That's second point.
Personally, it's imperative we get this 50/60-year-old,
and it was because it took that 50-year-old and his old tricks to tell them
how to make.
He goes, build the car for combat, and they're like, okay, and then they build it for combat, which basically just means fucking faster.
Yeah. All right. So you know better than It's not the bygone era of like the 20s and 30s where people basically, the driver was the mechanic.
Yeah. But that's how this film presented it.
Sure.
Brad Pitt owned the show. He turned up and he just told everyone where to go and what to do, which more nitpicky I didn't mind, but just would never fucking happen. Like they would tell him to do strategies, which brings me to point 3 of their strategy. And he would blatantly fucking ignore them to the point where he wanted a certain set of tires, right, early on. He comes in for his Brad Pitt stop, right? He pulls up. He wants soft tires. You got 3 different tires main in Formula One. He wants the soft ones. The main F1 strategist is saying, you want to go mediums. And he goes, no, I want soft, right? They change his tires around, quick, nice and quick, good pit stop, 2-3 seconds, put the mediums on, as the strategist says. He sits there and doesn't move. Right? And they don't do anything. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? And he goes, I want softs. And he sits there for 30 seconds, right? And then they go, fine, you can have the softs. And then they put the softs on. And then he goes and gets from like 22nd to like fucking 7th or something.
My word.
After a 35-second pit stop. So they've got a 60-year-old who tells them to make the car faster. And then the main strategy that won them everything, right, that Brad Pitt brought in for combat was he comes out of the first race and I think everyone has just done their pit stop apart from his teammate. Okay, so those who don't watch Formula One, everyone's got to take a pit stop. It slows you all down. If you don't take it, you're obviously going to overtake those people who are changing their tires, but at some point you're going to have to change, right? In Formula One, if there is a crash, they'll bring out a safety car and it slows everyone down, and it basically means that the pit stop is less of a consequence. It matters less. Brad Pitt's teammate hasn't changed his tires, so he's in like fucking 10th, right? Which has never happened in this team's history. And he drives straight fucking into someone and goes, right, go change your tires. And they're like, okay, what a great strategy. They actually seem like really impressed by it. And then he does it 3 fucking times in the same race. Every time, comes out, causes another crash, changes tires. And then for the rest of the season, their strategy is old man, faster car, cause crashes.
Crashes and get nice set of tires.
And no one fucking investigates them for it. So they go from 20 seconds to winning their fucking race.
This is the sort of thing, to be fair, if you aren't into F1 at all, you might think, wow, it's just amazing how they've managed to design this winning story from these ingenious things.
It was amazing.
These ingenious tricks which must work in the environment of F1. when as someone who has less of a vested interest in F1 than you, even hearing that it is infuriating. Because I found challenges annoying because of the way they bounce the ball before they serve.
Right, exactly.
Like, this is insane.
It's fucking. To be honest with you, it got beyond frustration. I just thought it was the funniest shit watching it.
Yeah, to be fair, if it gets, I mean, the way that they could really have capitalized on that is to make things even more ridiculous. It almost felt like they were trying to border on the realistic, if though far-fetched. But at that point, it's the sort of situation that just infuriates me so much that I would rather they just lent in so much. It's like, I've got this new engine that I've been trying out.
That is what they did.
That levitates the car.
They didn't quite go that
What
far.
about, has anyone thought, if we drive backwards?
Yeah, right, that's it. Go over the start line a few times. Well, anyway, there you go. So thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to do Superman next, so feel free to check in on your favourite podcast platforms, on YouTube, and we'll see you in Cannes.
Yes, we will. Thanks for that one. Lots of fun.